We're now joined by Noble Johnson, a receiver out of Texas, and Clemson's newest wide receiver commit. Noble, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good today. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. Well, first off, let's begin for you. I know that the commitment to Clemson, now big news, but walk me through first off your story and your journey of getting to this point.
The journey getting to this point, it's a pretty bizarre story. So I've been playing flag football my entire life. I got homeschooled 6th through 8th grade. My 8th grade year, I played tackle football for the first time. I played running back. So that's where I get my physical running mentality from. And then freshman year, my first year at Rockwall, they switched me over to receiver. I was awful. I was so bad. And I ended up meeting up with Hooks. We started to get to work, and then from there on out, it's just been up. My sophomore year, I got moved up to varsity. I was rotating, but I really wasn't getting as much play time as I wanted, so I went to the coaches, talked to them about them, moved me down to JV for 5 games. Ended my JV career with those 5 games with 27 touchdowns, and they moved me back up to varsity, got a kick return in, and then get back in the lab with Hooks. And my junior year, I went crazy. First 2 games, I popped off. It was against Dallas Jesuit and Lake Travis. And then, that's really where it all started.
Got you. So it starts there, and you mentioned, and we talked a little before we went on the podcast here about Coach Margin Hooks. He runs the game in Texas as far as receiver training goes, and I know he does a lot nationally too. But when you start working with him, take me a little through the product of start to finish for you in that game, saying you started out horrible, but then all of a sudden, now you're going Power 5.
All right, so when you first look at me, you don't think I'm a receiver, and everyone thinks I'm a linebacker. But what people don't know about me is that I'm fast, and I was just naturally quick. So Hooks immediately picked up on that. And my footwork was awful. He got my footwork down. He put me through it was some crazy easy footwork drills, but they were crazy hard for some reason. I guess like mind-boggling. It's weird. But he puts me through those, and then I started getting everything down, get my releases down. He would start teaching me new stuff, just new techniques, how to read defenses, putting me in different scenarios with different defenses. And it's been a good journey from there.
Gotcha. So now you say that things started really blowing up for you after you get on varsity, get the kick return, and when things started going, in terms of recruitment, how did that get started for you? Who were the schools that were kind of in first there?
All right, so after my JV, my sophomore year, I got my first offer. It was an SEC offer from Tennessee. And then after that, I had UTSA and Louisiana Tech offer me. And then I was just chilling for about 4 or 5 months. And then my junior year comes around. I play the Jesuit game, get a little buzz in the Dallas area. And then the Lake Travis game, that's when I pop off. My video goes viral for me pushing the kid down. And offers just started flying in. I gained about 13, 14 offers just from that. And then throughout the season, I gained the rest, a few in the off season. And but it was the majority of offers came from the first 2 games of my junior season.
Awesome. Okay, and you talk about the viral video of you pushing the guy down. Walk me through that viral moment now that it's been a little bit and the way you remember that.
All right, so they call a stop and go. So in Texas, the first 5 yards are you could do anything the first 5 yards. But I wanted to take the stop and go to 10, and then I just bounce off his outside hip. So I take it to 10. I give him a little hezzy with my head, look back at the quarterback. My quarterback, Braden Locke, he pump fakes it, and the corner just bites on that, comes flying down at me. Then when I put my head down to stick out of the stop, he's right there in my face. Now, I really wasn't thinking about what to do, so I just kept running straight, and he just flies. And then I'm like, oh, wow, that just happened in my head. And I'm like, oh, my God, the ball's coming. So then I have to get back on my horses. And I was just running from there.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
and so you have the viral plays. You're growing bigger and bigger as a recruit and as a receiver. So
Yeah.
when does Clemson come into the picture for you?
Clemson came in the picture for me at the beginning of this year. Coach Bishop initially started talking to me after the season, and then 2 weeks ago, I went to the Clemson camp, and then I got offered.
So when you're at the Clemson camp, I was actually there and I saw you performing, and that receiver group, by the way, was absolutely stacked with talent. But you go and perform, and I remember some of that group. How does it go down when you get the offer? You're on campus in person there.
All right, so I'll go down to the camp. I preferably don't want to go to camps just because I have all this buzz around my name. And I really didn't feel the need to go to a camp, but it was just like Clemson's different. So I just took the invite from Coach Grisham. And when I got down there, as soon as I got off the plane, it was just shocking. I was like, wow, I'm really at Clemson. And I started getting nervous and everything. I was like, what am I going to see here? But then I kind of calmed it down. And I was like, I'm just going to be myself. And then I just started popping off. Coach Grisham and Coach Sweeney came over to me, and they were giving me different routes to run, telling me how complicated they are and that all this and that about the routes. And but I was making the routes look crazy easy. And that's really where it was. That's really where I got the offer from.
Gotcha. Okay, and I understand with some prospects with bigger names like you not loving to go to all these camps, but you said Clemson was special or Clemson was different. What was different about it, or what was different about that decision for you there?
The difference is the history behind the name Clemson and how close the coaching staff is and how close the players are. From the get-go, you could tell there's no toxicity in the locker room or in the coaching staff or between anyone, and that they're all there for each other. It's just a big family, and you could tell everyone wants to stay together. And I felt welcomed to the family when I arrived.
I see. Okay, and for you to commit to Clemson, what was the moment that you knew that might be a home for you?
When he was talking, I was in Coach Grisham's office, just talking statistics of Clemson's offense. And I was looking over at my dad, and I was like, this is really the receiver you. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I got to come here. Like, what am I doing just sitting here? I don't want to go on any other trips. I haven't taken any official visits yet. Which I forfeited for committing to Clemson, but I feel like it's worth it because nothing else that any other school that could offer me that's better than Clemson. But I was looking over at my dad in the meeting room, and I was just like, I got to commit. And then we hopped on the plane. I didn't commit that moment. Hopped on the plane. Me and my dad were talking the entire 2 hour and a half. Flight back home. And I was like, I got to give some time. Maybe I'm just on an emotional stage right now about the school, which I was. And then a week goes by, and I was just like thinking, it's like Clemson's my home. So my parents get on a Zoom call with Coach Sweeney because my mom hasn't met him yet. And when they did that, I was just like, this is my time. I want to commit. This is my place, this is my home.
Gotcha. So the first time that you visited Clemson, what was your first impression of the entire football program or the things that you were seeing?
I loved it. I'm not a big fan of orange, but they really do make it look good. I wear orange at Rockwall, and they make it look good too. And so that was one. And I love the facilities. The facilities and just everything around it are amazing. They're very nice. I just feel like how the coaches and the players hold themselves and how they speak and how they interact with others, that also helps a lot with my decision.
So now you're getting this Clemson program that you're coming to, but when they look at and break things down, what are we getting at receiver? What do you bring to a Power 5 program?
It's a huge package, you with me. So if you haven't looked on Rivals page, I have a verified 4.49, and I begin some speed work in, and I run I've gotten faster with my verified times of 4.49. So you got speed coming in, you got physicality, you got strength, you got route running. I get in and out of breaks. I make very complicated catches, very difficult catches. And I can just break defenses apart. I can just pick them apart. And it's very exciting to watch me.
Awesome. So now, in terms of off the field, what are some things that you enjoy outside of football, hobbies, or things that you do in your free time?
Hobbies: play Madden, sleep, and build Legos. I love Legos. I'm a very handsy person.
Do you have any sets you're working on now, or like Legos that you're into right now?
I haven't built any Legos anytime recent, just because football's taking up my time. But I have a Millennium Falcon. I built that. I have the White House. I have a motorcycle. And then I have this one spot from Italy. I just remembered that one.
Nice. Okay. And when Clemson fans or people around the program say, "Who is Noble Johnson? What is he all about?" what would your reply be?
What would I say to that? I don't know. They would just have to come out and see, but make sure they bring their popcorns, because it's going to be a show. As soon as I step out on that field, it's going to be a show.
Absolutely. Well, Noble, thank you for your time. That's all the questions I've got for you.
Yeah, thank you.